We, the people, tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. The people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route and how fast. Almost all the world's constitutions are documents in which governments tell the people what their privileges are. Our Constitution is a document in which the people tell the government what it is allowed to do. The people are free. And I hope we have once again reminded people that man is not free unless government is limited. There's a clear cause and effect here that is as neat and predictable as a law of physics. As government expands, liberty contracts.
It has gone out of committee to approve slave reparations to be paid to people who were never slaves, to be paid for by people who never owned slaves, in a state that never had slaves. That's like paying child support for a child you never had, to a woman you never.
When the Shah was in power, think back, we were best friends with Iran.
Of course.
I trained the Iranian intelligence people. We trained them. They were our people. When the radical Ayatollahs and the mullahs took over Iran, they did not bring in a new intelligence service. They did not change the agency. The IRG stayed the same. The deal to place bin Laden in Iran wasn't cut with the Iranian government. It was cut with Soleimani. And that's why we killed him. Our intelligence agency has tentacles around the world. And they're not answering to anybody. And that's the problem right now. That's the problem Trump has. He can cut off the security clearance of 51, but that network extends far and wide around the world, and they can play all the games they want in Ukraine, in other countries. And until we go after that, this is not going to stop.
All consistent with what I've seen.
And,
I would say.
and
I don't think that's not a crazy statement.
That's the challenge that Trump has right now. I still think he's at risk. Last May I went on a TV show locally in the Philadelphia area, and I said my greatest challenge is they're going to try to take Trump out. A month later, they did the attack. It goes back to when I kept quiet because I couldn't trust any of the administrations after I left, including the Bush administration, because Bush wasn't in control. And I can give you example after example
I saw
of Bush
that.
not being in control. Yeah. I knew who was in control. When Trump was going in, I met with Rudy Giuliani. I had 2 private dinners with him up in New York. I had not known Rudy that well. I said, Rudy, this is what's going to happen. The deep state's going to undermine Trump. They don't want him. They will undermine him by removing his ability to understand how they operate. Before he took office, they took out General Mike Flynn.
Yep.
When they took out Flynn, Trump was like a baby in the woods. And for 4 years, they used the Congress and they used their connections to derail this country. That's the problem that occurred in the first Trump 4 years. This time, I'm trying to get Trump to realize he's got a great start. But the people around him don't know what they don't know. They don't have that historical understanding of what this just didn't happen with Trump. It took me out in 2006.
So let's get to that. They took you out in 2006, and that's kind of this conversation began. I'll remember that very well. And it was like there were pictures on TV. I worked then at CNN. There were pictures of their blue jackets outside your daughter's house, and it's like Kurt Weldon corruption scandal. And then you lost to Sestak.
Yep.
Sestak, who was like former general and just like
He got demoted. He was a 3-star demoted to a 2-star. His wife worked on the Clinton Security Council. He had intelligence ties. She still does. Her name was, I think, Clark. He was on the NSC for
But
Clinton.
he was like ultimate deep stater.
He lived in the district. He doesn't live there now.
Right.
He came into the district to run. He had been in the district. And then after he lost, he went back down to Virginia.
And all of a sudden, I remember all this really well, thinking like,
here's what happened.
And then he got funding from around the country.
He ran his campaign. His campaign was managed by the staff director of Sandy Berger's company. Sandy Berger sent his woman to run the Sestak campaign. I did a 1-hour floor speech about Sandy Berger, calling him a traitor.
Yeah.
We can talk about the
I'd like to, and I'm just getting far afield once again, and my apologies for that. But okay, so your daughter and the FBI raid.
That our intelligence agencies smuggled bin Laden into Iran while they helped assist with destroying 9/11, those 2 things called the Twin Towers. They blew them up. There's messages of explosions. There was the firefighters got to the freaking 78th floor and had 2 fires they were putting out. And our fucking CIA and— blew them up. And somehow You guys think you're going to get through the day today? Good luck.
He said, Congressman, I want you to help me get into Iran. I said, why do you want to go to Iran? He said, that's where bin Laden is. I said, why would you tell me that bin Laden's in Iran? He said, I was a knock for the agency. Do you know what a knock is?
Yeah, non-official cover.
That's right. He said, I was a knock for the agency, and I worked that area. And my friends are seeing bin Laden in Iran. If you help me get to Tehran, I'll leave my identity there. I'll get a piece of him, dead or alive, and I'll bring it back. At the time, there was a $25 million reward for bin Laden. I said, I can't help